The shoreline of Accra rests beneath a sky overflowing with stars. The moon lays a shimmering silver path across the gentle water, as though inviting only the most peaceful travelers to follow. Tall coconut palms sway gently, their fronds whispering softly in the warm coastal breeze. The rhythmic breath of the ocean rises and falls, rises and falls with effortless calm. You begin here, in a private, open-air cabana set just beyond the edge of the city. Its thatched roof is woven tight against the night sky. A single brass lantern hangs from the center beam, turned down low, so the light inside is more of a suggestion than a glow. Behind you, Accra's skyline still rests low on the horizon, a soft smear of amber and rose, the last of its noise thinned into a soothing hum. Somewhere back there, a taxi horn sounds once, faint and far away, and then is simply gone, swallowed by the distance you've put between yourself and the city centre. Ahead of you, there is only the Atlantic. Vast, dark, endless. Endless in a way that makes the whole city behind you feel small and far away, like something you dreamed rather than something you left hours ago. You watch as each wave gathers and falls, as each wave draws back across the sand, slow, steady, inevitable, the heartbeat of the whole coastline, of the whole city behind it, beating on and on, the way it has every single night, long before you arrived and long after you fall asleep. You settle for a moment on the wide, cushioned bench along the cabana's edge, letting your eyes adjust to the dark, letting your ears adjust to the quiet, letting your whole body remember what it feels like to have absolutely nothing else to do but to head towards rest. You let your body sink a little heavier into the cushion. You breathe in slowly through your nose. You hold it gently and let it go, long and unhurried, through your mouth. Again, in, you hold, you let out. In, filling your chest slowly, and out, like a wave pulling back from the shore, slow and unhurried. Soon you rise, leaving your sandals behind on the low wooden step. The sand here, tonight, is nothing like the sand of the afternoon. It has cooled all the way through, soft and faintly damp, closing gently around your feet with every step, like it too is settling down for the night. The air is thick with salt, heavy and mineral and clean. It fills your chest in a way that feels less like breathing and more like being rinsed slowly from the inside. Somewhere beneath that salt, you catch the faint green smell of the seagrasses that grow just beyond the tide line. And beneath that, something sweeter still, like ripe mango carried down from a garden further inland. Cool sand, salt air. You walk toward the water's edge, unhurried. Your feet sink a little deeper with each step as the sand grows damp, then wet, then silken where the last of a wave has just pulled back. The cool water laps once around your ankles, then retreats. You stand there a while longer, letting the water reach for you and let go. Reach for you and let go. Again and again, each time a little cooler, a little softer, a little more forgiving than the last. Somewhere far out, far in the horizon, A single ship's light blinks slowly on the black horizon, patient, unbothered, keeping its own quiet watch. Lanterns glow in the distance outside elegant beachfront villas, casting pools of golden light onto smooth sand. The air is rich with salt carried from the Atlantic, softened by blooming frangipani, and the faint sweetness of charcoal-grilled pineapple drifting from a quiet beach cafe preparing for tomorrow. Somewhere beyond the curve of the shoreline, a fisherman hums an old gar melody while carefully mending his nets beneath the moonlight. His movements unhurried, practiced over generations, blending so naturally into the rhythm of the sea that it becomes impossible to tell where the song ends and the waves begin. Tonight, this peaceful stretch of Accra's coast belongs only to the ocean, the stars, and now to you. Above you, the sky glows with deep blue, lavender, and finally, the rich, dark indigo of approaching night. Palm trees sway with graceful confidence, their leaves whispering quietly to one another, as though sharing stories carried by the sea for generations. Every breath becomes slower. Every exhale allows another piece of the day to drift quietly away, like a shell carried gently back into the ocean. The shoreline stretches for what feels like forever, wide, peaceful, welcoming. The Atlantic shimmers beneath the last light, each wave catching ribbons of gold before disappearing into silver. You have entered a place where luxury is measured in the simple privilege of watching the Atlantic breathe beneath a sky full of stars. As your bare feet meet the warm Ghanaian sand, the world you left behind quietly disappears. Every task, every worry, all stress disappear, one wave at a time. You begin walking along Labadi Beach. Your feet sink slightly into the cool sand, leaving soft footprints that the tide quietly erases behind you. A little farther ahead, a young woman walks beside the water, carrying a woven basket balanced gracefully upon her head. Inside her basket are ripe mangoes, tiny pineapples, chilled coconuts, and sweet roasted groundnuts wrapped neatly in paper. She smiles briefly as you walk past. The scent of fresh mango drifts gently through the evening. Gentle, comforting. The shoreline grows quieter. Only the waves, only the ocean breeze, only your steady breathing. Even the evening seems ready for rest. The palms sway more slowly. The breeze becomes softer. The sea breathes deeper. You notice how every sound arrives, then gently disappears. Wave, wind, palm leaves, a distant seabird, silence. Your breathing naturally begins matching the rhythm of the Atlantic. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. There is nothing to solve, nothing unfinished, nothing waiting. Only this moment, only this shore, only this peaceful Accra night at Labadi Beach, embracing you completely. Soon, the moon begins lifting itself above the Atlantic, slowly, almost shyly, until its reflection stretches across the water like polished silk. Tiny fishing boats appear farther offshore. Their lanterns glow like scattered stars resting upon the ocean. Further along the beach, half hidden behind a low dune, a woman sits cross-legged on a woven straw mat, threading beads with remarkable skill. A lantern sits on a low wooden stool beside her. The stool sits in a small hollow scooped out of the sand, sheltered from the breeze. The lantern's light, low and amber, shines on several trays of beads spread across a woven cloth. The beads themselves catch the light in 100 small ways. Deep amber ones, like drops of hardened honey. Sea glass green, the colour of shallow water at midday, though tonight it only glows. A blue so dark it looks almost black until the light finds it. And then, for just a moment, it flashes the exact colour of the ocean beyond the shore break. Waist beads coiled into loose spirals, bracelets stacked in careful rows, long necklaces hanging from a small wooden frame beside her, swaying faintly whenever the breeze passes through. Each one strung slowly, patiently, bead by bead by bead. You sit for a while on the cool sand beside her mat, watching her fingers move. Thread, bead, thread, bead. Unhurried, certain, the same rhythm as the waves behind you, the same rhythm as your own slow breath. She tells you, without being asked, that her grandmother taught her which colours mean protection, which mean joy, which mean a safe return home across water. Her grandmother learned it from her. You linger there a little longer than you meant to, watching the lantern light pool and shift across the beads, listening to the quiet click of them settling against one another in their trays. You buy some beads and thank her. Then you rise slowly from the sand to continue your walk along the beach. As you walk on, you notice a new smell drifting toward you, warm and spiced, threading itself in with the salt air. You catch the faint sound of oil sizzling in a hot pan. A small stand glows under a single bulb strung from a bamboo pole. A woman in a deep indigo wrapper turns cubes of spiced plantain in a wide black pan. The smell: ginger, nutmeg, cayenne, caramelized sugar. Drifts out to meet you before the woman notices you. She looks up from the pan of kelewele and greets you with a warm smile. Behind the stand, a lone drummer sits with a djembe between his knees. He plays a slow, looping rhythm that seems to rise directly out of the sand. Boom, badoom, boom, matching somehow the crush and hiss of the water of the ocean behind him, as if the whole beach is breathing on the same slow count. You close your eyes for a moment, just letting the rhythm move through you. The drum and the waves are no longer two separate sounds, but one long, unbroken pulse, holding the whole night together. You notice how much heavier your body has already become since you started walking. You notice how much quieter your thoughts have grown. You breathe in slowly and let it go completely, all the way out. Once more, in and out. Then you keep walking, slower now than before. You find yourself drawn to the water's edge once more. You wade in slowly to your calves, then to your knees. The water is surprisingly warm this deep into the night, holding the day's heat the way the sand held it earlier. Each wave that reaches you arrives without any hurry, rising gently against your legs, then sliding back out with a long, soft hiss, pulling a little bit of the sand out from beneath your feet each time, resettling you slightly with every pull. Above you, the sky has opened up completely now. There are no clouds left at all, just a wide black dome scattered with more stars than a city sky ever lets you see. Somewhere among them, low near the horizon, hangs the same bright cluster the old fishermen have always used to find their way home. Unmoving, dependable. The same tonight as it was 100 years ago. You wade out of the water and continue on. A little further down the beach, a small fire burns low in a ring of stones. An elderly woman sits beside it, wrapped in cloth the colour of dark cocoa. A group is gathered loosely around her, some sitting, others, like you, standing comfortably nearby. She is telling, in a low, unhurried voice, an old Anansi tale, the clever spider who once tried to gather all the wisdom of the world into a single pot. You sit at the edge of the circle, not needing to know how the story started to understand how it ends. Wisdom, she says, was never meant to be kept in one place. It was always meant to be scattered, shared, passed hand to hand, like warmth from a fire. You smile as you leave the group, continuing your walk along beach and towards rest. You look up, and far down the curve of the coastline, there you catch the slow, patient sweep of the old Jamestown lighthouse. Its beam turns steady circles over rooftops you can no longer see. It has watched over this coast for over 100 years, through fishing fleets and festivals, through drumming and quiet nights just like this one, never hurrying, never missing a single turn. You simply stand still for a moment. You feel the sand beneath your feet, cool and certain, the salt air resting on your skin, and you feel the patient, steady and endless heartbeat of the Atlantic Ocean. The waves don't ask you what you accomplished. The sand doesn't ask you to prove anything before it lets you sink into it. This is the soft life, not something you achieve, but something you allow. The simple things, the simple choices. You let your shoulders drop, your jaw soften, your hands go loose and heavy at your sides. You let your whole chest widen with each slow breath, a little more room each time for nothing but rest. Slowly, slowly, you turn back the way you came. The fire has burned down to embers now. The storyteller's voice has faded into the sound of the tide. The drummer has slowed his hands until they've stopped altogether. The bead seller has wrapped her goods in cloth and gone quiet for the night. The fisherman has already pulled his canoe a little higher up the sand, ready for morning. The sounds of the ocean follows you all the way home. Quieter now, but never gone. The familiar path home unfolds beneath your feet, soft sand giving way to smooth stone, then to weathered wooden boards warmed by countless Ghanaian sunsets. Behind you, the Atlantic continues its endless conversation with the shore, each wave arriving with the same quiet promise and leaving without asking for anything in return. You walk past low walls draped in bougainvillea. At the top of the path, your villa waits peacefully beneath the palms, its white walls glowing softly beneath the moonlight, its windows open to welcome the ocean breeze. You reach the front veranda, and before stepping inside, you see the low-slung hammock waiting for you on the open terrace, strung loosely between two wooden posts, facing out toward the water and the wide open sky. It has been waiting for you all evening, gently swaying in the breeze. You lower yourself into it, feeling the natural fibers cradle your body with effortless ease. The hammock embraces you completely, supporting every tired muscle, every quiet thought, every lingering breath. Then, almost without noticing, the hammock begins its gentle rhythm. Forward, back, forward, back. Like the steady pendulum of time, asking nothing of you except to surrender. The breeze joins the rhythm, the palms join the rhythm. Even the ocean seems to breathe in perfect harmony. Your breathing naturally follows. You inhale as the hammock drifts forward. Exhale as it gently returns. Inhale. Exhale. The warm breeze moves over you, slow, unhurried, and the whole world begins to shrink now, smaller and smaller, until there is nothing left but the sound of the ocean, the warm breeze against your skin, and the soft, swaying weight of your own body. In and out. In and out. In and out. You think of this beautiful evening, the moon resting upon the Atlantic, and the simple joy of walking along the shore. Gratitude settles gently over you. Gratitude for this body that carried you along the shoreline, for the ocean that quieted your thoughts, for the stars that reminded you how vast and beautiful the world can be, and for this moment, this perfectly ordinary, perfectly extraordinary moment of complete peace. You silently thank the sea. You thank the breeze. You thank this quiet corner of Accra for reminding you of the simple things in life. The hammock continues its patient rhythm. Forward, back, forward, back. Your eyelids become pleasantly heavy. The sounds of the night soften around you until they seem very far away, wrapped in layers of warm air and moonlight. The stars blur gently behind your closing eyes. The breeze brushes lightly across your skin, cool, comforting, familiar. One final sway carries away the last waking thought. Another welcomes quiet dreams. The hammock rocks you with a steady rhythm. Forward, back, forward, back. Your breathing is slow. Your heart is calm. Your mind is quiet. The Atlantic watches peacefully through the night. The palms continue their gentle dance beneath the stars, and you drift effortlessly into deep, restorative, peaceful sleep, held softly between the breeze, the sea, and the quiet embrace of your hammock. You sleep deeply now, rested, grateful, and completely at peace. Good night.